Good evening, everyone. Our main assignment this week was to immerse ourselves in listening to the context of the neighborhoods that our churches are in. As a reminder, I attend Southern Hills Church of the Nazarene. It's in Louisville, Kentucky, and in the Pioneer Village Housing Development. We are a neighborhood church, and this means that we cannot be spotted from any of the surrounding highways, such as Preston Highway nor John Harper Highway. There's only a few ways that one would know about our church, and one of those ways would be by word of mouth and GPS. Second way is that we have signs out near the church, near the main highways, directing traffic to the church. Now, a lot of churches do this, but it is something that is brought up time and time again to let people know that, hey, we're here, we are part of the community, and we want to invite you in to become part of our family. And then the last thing is that you wouldn't know that we're here unless you lived in the Pioneer Village near the church. We have been in our community for nearly 10 years. I've been attending the church for 2 years. We have nearly 60 people on a roll that are listed as members of the church, and there's only about 40 to 45 people that attend Sunday morning worship, and 10 to 15 that attend Wednesday evening prayer and Bible study. And we don't hold any Sunday evening services due to a lack of interest in those things. So. And finally, there's only 5 of us that live in or near the Pioneer Village, and the rest of us are kind of scattered out throughout the city. And what's kind of happened in our history is that we all used to be part of different churches, but myself, I grew up in Indiana, in a town called Corden, which is about 30 minutes away, in another Nazarene church. And I coincidentally had to move down here due to some personal reasons, and ended up deciding, I can do better ministry if I attend a church that's close by my home. Because the driving going back and forth to my old church in Indiana was just too much. It was too time consuming, and so I decided to look for a family down here. And that's not something that you see quite often in the church, where people are just going and looking. And as you see, you'll begin to see later on in my presentation that. The best way for us to bring in more people is not to wait for them to come, but for us to get out there and let them know that we're here, and that we will welcome them as part of our family anytime. So continuing on, the Pioneer Village that we're part of, it's an expansive neighborhood. And there are a lot of young families that live near our church. The problem that I'm citing in this presentation is that nobody from the neighborhood attends our church. And I believe that it's honorable if you wish to travel out of your way to attend our church, or to attend church every week. But I also believe that something is wrong on the side of outreach in the church when there are no members from the community attending the services and getting involved. So I strongly agree with the statement in this week's lecture that the church must learn to work together with the community. And I have driven to and from our services this week. On my way to services in open gym. And I've noticed there were many children with their parents playing in the front yards. There were a lot of elderly sitting on their porches, especially since the weather, has been so beautiful outside here in Kentucky lately. Besides the heat, the heat's been awful. But we haven't had any issues, and so a lot of people are starting to get out more. So that means, hey, the church needs to start getting out more. The people are getting out in the community, in the neighborhood. And so I think that the church needs to be focusing on becoming more of a presence, and we do okay with that. We have our open gym, which we invite the entire community in. We have our annual Halloween event, which brings in hundreds of people, not just from the Pioneer Village, but the surrounding communities. We have our annual things that we do at Christmas time. And so we do make several valiant attempts to get out there and make ourselves known and let people know that, hey, we care about them, but we've got to do so much more. And I've noticed, I've spotted people running and walking along the side of the road, and I also noticed at one point I was doing 45 miles per hour in the 35 mile per hour zone, and right when I slowed down, there was a police officer that drove by, heading in the opposite direction. So the guy was watching over me, and he reminded me that those speed limit signs are mandatory and not suggested. There's a lot of those posts, and I also like to call our neighborhood Stop Sign City, because there's a lot of places around here where we'll have four-way stops, or we'll have roads connecting to the main roadway that's going in down through the middle of the Pioneer Village, and so it gets kind of hectic with all the traffic signs and everything that are there. But I know why they're there. They're there to keep the kids in the community safe. And so, man, if only our church was that present, then we'd have a lot of people. So one theme that I was able to identify as I scoured the neighborhood is that people do not come to our church unless they know us. And I mentioned this earlier, that the church is responsible to get out there and to make themselves known in the community. And it was a 1 in a million chance that I became part of the church because I was looking. So our neighbors are simply not looking either because they already attend a church, or they have personal reasons why they are not part of the church, or they just don't know that we're there. So some very simple things there that are keeping people from coming to visit us is that they're going to church in a different community, or that they have some personal reasons as to why they're not part of the church, or they just simply don't know we're here. And I think we should be out in the community walking and saying hello to our neighbors as we pass each other. One idea that was suggested is that our church may possibly have like a block party in the spring, summer, or autumn that consists of food games, activities that everybody and every family can do. I've heard even some people suggest that we do outside movie nights. There's just an endless possibility of things that we can do to make ourselves known in our neighborhood. And another suggestion that we were given is to attend local events setting up booths with information about our church. So these things, they kind of require commitment, but they are an effective part of outreach no matter what we are promoting. Another thing that arises consistently as I speak to different people in the community is a partnership with our neighbors to resolve some of the issues that are going on. So this can include cleaning the roadways of trash and debris, some yard work, fencing, assisting the elderly, delivering meals. And our neighbors would like to see all of the churches in the neighborhood become more active, like some of the nearby churches. We have a couple of churches nearby that they're not mega churches, but they do have a lot of people that attend the church. And their names are Little Flock Baptist Church and Oklahoma Christian Church. And part of the reason why these churches have grown so much in their attendance is because their members were impacted by someone or a group of people from their churches who reached out to them. So now it's our turn. It's our turn to reach out. And I've reflected on this experience a lot in the past couple of weeks, where we've tried to get out there and just get to know our neighbors and let them know that they're welcome and I can speak from one personal experience that I've had, and I didn't plan to do this in this video, but I was outside waiting for some kiddos to show up to my open gym on a Tuesday night about 2 weeks ago, and this man and his niece came by riding on their bikes. And I stopped them to talk to them and just to say hello and ask them what their names are, if they're from the neighborhood. And I gave them a little information about our church and let them know that they're loved by God, and we would definitely love them to come by and be part of our family. I think that's the main thing, is people want to know that we care. So I've reflected on this experience a lot. And I've not only been challenged in this course to think about what the church is supposed to do, but also by my pastor and some of our other leaders in the church who are campaigning for community outreach. A particular passage that's come to mind as I've thought about this is Matthew chapter 22, verses 34 through 40. And it says, this is Jesus speaking to the Pharisees here. It says the Pharisees had heard about Jesus, who had silenced the Sadducees, and they came together. And one of them, an expert in the law, tested him with this question: "Teacher, which is the greatest commandment in the law?" And Jesus replied, "Love the Lord your God with all your heart and all your soul and with all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment, and the second is like it. Love your neighbor as yourself. All the law and the prophets hang on these two commandments." Literally, he told the Pharisee to love the people that were all around him. And in the same way, I feel like churches are called to love the people that are living next to them. And this has been one incredible experience, and the journey thus far is in this course has been the same. I pray and I hope that you guys will have the same experience with these activities that we've been doing in this class, the workshops, and I pray that you will use them to the best of your ability in your ministry. And I just love you guys, and I hope you have a great week.